G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/EntitledParents. Now if you're ready for some bloody good Karen stories, I want you to sit back, relax, chug a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some bloody good stories. That's all there is to say, thank you. Posted by user Painsomnia. Titled, Karen harasses me in my own damn house and makes a fool of herself. I live in a ground floor apartment in the middle of my little town with a small courtyard at the back. There is a lovely set of glass sliding doors that open from the living room into said courtyard, and on the other side of the courtyard fence is a public footpath with a public car park behind it. It's lunchtime here at the moment, so there's a person walking past every 5 minutes or so. It's also useful to know, for context, that I'm physically disabled and use a walking stick. My genetic disorder, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, also makes me look significantly younger than I am. So despite being 31 years old, I'm often mistaken for a teenager, especially by Karens, for whom I seem to be a goddamn magnet. Anyway, on to the story. So I was sitting on my sofa, watching TV and eating my lunch, when I spotted one of those little black millipedes on the carpet. We get a lot of them at this time of the year. So I used an empty muesli bar box to scoop it up and chuck it over the fence, so that it hopefully won't come back into the apartment. No big deal, right? There was this Karen walking along the footpath, a fair way down from our fence, and she yelled something like, "I saw what you just did." I didn't think she was barking at me, since I hadn't done anything wrong or unusual, so I went back inside. She then appeared at our back gate, shouting at me for throwing rubbish over the fence and littering. I told her I'd thrown a millipede over the fence that I'd found on the carpet. She accused me of lying and said that she's seen me throw a box. I opened the fly screen door and held up the empty muesli bar box and said, "You mean this one?" She froze and stammered a bit before saying, well, obviously you threw something else then. Like, I was beating the idiot here? Lol? I said, "Then where is it?" And this tramp actually started scouring the flower bed between the footpath and the car park for the imaginary rubbish she was adamant I had thrown. I guess she found nothing she could reasonably accuse me of having thrown out there because she came back to the fence and barked, "If I ever catch you littering again, missy, you will be dealing with the police." So I said, sure, I would love to tell them about you harassing a disabled woman in her own home. We'll see how that goes for you. And she stormed off, Lamau. What the actual hell? I get dealing with Karens in the wilds, but in my own goddamn home? Wish I'd thought to snap a photo of her, just in case. Hindsight is 2020. Posted by user Blue-Eyed Mess. Titled, My sister demanded we share my daughter. Okay, so this happened a few years ago, but I still remember it like it was yesterday, and to be honest, still can't understand what my sister was thinking. A little backstory. My sister and I had to share everything as kids. Not to mention I was forced to be her and our younger brother's second mother, but I'll put that in a different post. For some of my childhood, I was happy to share things with my sister. Sweets, snacks, toys, the normal kid things. There's 4 years between us. I'm the oldest, and as you can probably guess, when I reached my teen years, I wanted my own things and to spend time alone. Nope. She wanted me to do everything with her. I could barely spend 10 minutes in the bathroom before she would start banging on the door. Unfortunately, when I was around 15, my siblings and I were taken into foster care. We were separated from our brother, which was difficult for both of us, and for a while I didn't mind my sister wanting to spend all of her time with me. Shortly after my 16th birthday, I wanted to have my own space and things that are, well, mine. She would argue with me over not sharing my stuff, and of course, typical sibling fights and yelling happened almost every other day. We sort of grew out of our sibling squabbles over the years, but she kinda developed a "the world owes me" attitude, which drove me crazy. I did my best to hold in my frustrations, but I'm human, and sometimes I kinda snapped. A couple years after my daughter was born, my sister and I weren't really talking much because of her selfish attitudes towards me, and I spent most of my time and income on my daughter. During one of the times we were on good terms, she was over for the weekend and everything was okay. Until a conversation led to her telling me she was going to take my daughter for a week because she wanted to spend time with her because it was her turn. I said, not gonna happen. She is my daughter, not a doll or pet we share. She gets mad and starts yelling. I told her to leave and she argues how she had parental rights and social services will force me to allow her to take my daughter whenever she wants. I laughed, told her to get out and don't come back. Honestly, I don't know if she seriously thought that it was her right to have my daughter. I've got plenty of other insane stories about my family, which I may post about at some point. Thanks for reading my crazy story. Posted by user CatLady1961A, titled, I Stop a Karen from Hoarding Baby Wipes. So I work as a courtesy clerk, commonly called a grocery bagger. This just happened a few hours ago, so it's fairly fresh in my mind. I was at checkout 7, bagging groceries. When I looked over at checkout 6, I saw a lady who was buying multiple packs of baby wipes. I went over and asked the cashier, isn't there a limit to baby wipes? The cashier, who usually worked dairy, was unfamiliar with whether or not there was a limit to baby wipes. I went to customer service and asked if there was a limit to baby wipes. They told me yes, 2. The lady from customer service went to register 6 and told the lady that she can only buy 2 packages of wipes. The lady then proceeded to go whole hog Karen. It wasn't posted, she protested. I want to speak to a member of management. A member of management came by and told her she can only buy 2 packages of baby wipes. The lady then complained. It wasn't posted. The member of management told her yes, it is posted, that you can only buy 2 packages. I quickly gathered up the surplus wipes to return to the counter where they belonged. She was trying to buy 12 packages of wipes. Talk about hoarding. Posted by user Violent More Violent, titled, The Summer of EP, a Hellscape. Working in the service industry, dealing with entitled people is part of the game. However, this summer I saw the worst behavior I've ever seen in my decade-plus experience. The pandemic has brought out the absolute worst in people, who seem to think the rules are my personal vendetta against them instead of something I have to follow to stay employed. Here is a fun sampling. Things I have been called for asking people to wear their mask. Censored, fascist, fun Nazi, and a-hole. Had several people threatened to sue me over asking them to observe social distancing. These people's tips often reflected their feelings about the rules. Standouts include the 95-cent tip, the 1-cent tip, and the 50-cent tips on alcoholic drinks. Delivery driver attempted to attack me over a counter because I wasn't responding fast enough. Screaming delivery people, or people clearly new to the delivery game, pissed I'm not hand-holding them through doing their job. At least once a week, someone would push aside the barrier and try to come into the place, thinking they had special privilege to go inside? Someone asking me, how do I sleep at night being this much of a bear? Because I wouldn't sell them a drink after we closed for over 20 minutes. The person who held up a block-long line arguing about the mask, then returned the next day with a mesh one. The lady who screamed at me till I cried because she said I didn't spend long enough talking to her while coordinating delivery, food, and a block-long drink line at the same time. And the absolute kicker. The man who, when I told him I didn't have a bathroom available, peed in a bottle and threw it at my head. I managed to duck, thank God. So people of Reddit, have you noticed an uptick of entitled people during the pandemic? What are your experiences? Please commiserate. Peckerlip says, people see the barricades and don't give an F. I had a guy come up to the counter after repeatedly asking him not to. I gave up and helped him, which made the next guy think he could do the same, then call me some slang word. Pretty sure it was about me being racist because I told him to step back. I did have other customers ready to jump up if he started crap, so that was nice. The amount of rants I've heard over how it's a hoax and I'm discriminating against them and their rights is ridiculous. I also get a lot of crap for their rent going up. I work in self-storage. After 6 months of no increases due to the pandemic and nothing over 10%, which is much lower than the industry standard. I'm not the owner. I can't control what happens, but they sure as hell want to yell at me as if I am. I had someone call me racist because our credit card machine was down. Huh? I literally showed them the broken card machine with a cracked screen, and they said it was a prop. It has truly been hellish. Posted by user 2QueenTwin. Titled, Apparently I pay rent to be a doorman. I live in a block of 6 flats in Scotland on the top floor. It's okay. Fairly quiet and the neighbours are nice. I know who all of them are. The main front door requires a key fob to enter, or you need to buzz someone in if they ring your intercom. I've only managed to lock myself out once so far. So this afternoon, I finally decided to brave the cold and take the recycling out, key fob in my pocket. We have these big communal bins out on the pavement, one for cardboard, one for mixed recycling. You get the idea. The cardboard bin is across the street, opposite a row of parked cars. In our street, you can only park on one side of the road, as it's a one-way street, because of a nearby primary school. While I'm putting the recycling in the cardboard bin, I'm vaguely aware of someone leaving our block and headed towards one of the parked cars. I didn't think much of it, finished my cardboard disposal, and turned to go back inside. On my way, I see that the person who left the building is a youngish man that I've never seen before. I let myself back inside with my key fob and let the main front door shut behind me before heading back upstairs to my flat where it's nice and warm. 10 minutes later, there's quite an aggressive knocking at my door. I go to answer it, thinking it might be a parcel, to find the same youngish man, YM, from outside standing there. He looks furious. I say, "Can I help you?" And he says, "Yeah, why didn't you hold the door open?" I beg your pardon. I know, I'm very English. You came inside from doing the bins and didn't hold the door open for me. That's so effing rude. Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were behind me. I wasn't behind you. I was just getting something from my car, but I don't have a key fob, so you should have waited. Wait, you wanted me to stand outside in the freezing cold for 10 minutes, waiting for you to finish dicking about in your car, so that I could let you back into the building? Well, yeah, that's the neighborly thing to do. Okay, no. First of all, I don't know you. You're not my neighbor. I don't let strange men into a building I live in. Second of all, technically you're not supposed to be here. I know you don't live here, and visiting households indoors isn't allowed in this part of Scotland. Third, whoever it is you're visiting could easily have given you their fob or buzzed you back in. I'm not going to freeze my chest off for anyone, especially you. Now go away before I phone the police. He stomped back downstairs after that, fuming but silent. I might text my landlord and ask for a reduction in rent if I'm going to be a doorman as well. I locked my door, but his car isn't outside anymore, and I'm sure I heard my actual neighbors laughing at him when he went back downstairs. Posted by user Fed Up Cat. Titled, EP accuses blind girl of being able to see, gets handed an eyeful. I was reminded of this incident yesterday during a phone call with a friend from my college days. For a little background, my friend, I'll call her Jill, and I were both about 19 or 20 years old at the time of the incident in 1983. Do the math, and yes, I'm that old. Because Jill was blind, ocular melanoma, important later, She had an advocate. There is another name for this, but for the life of me I can't think of what it is. But you get the idea. That went everywhere with her on the university campus. They made sure she made it safely to and from each of her classes and assisted her with test taking, etc. We met up when Jill walked by my table in the student union hall, bumped my coffee and spilled it all over the both of us. We've been friends ever since. Because Jill lived off-campus with her parents and I lived in an off-campus apartment a few blocks away, I drove every day to school. We coordinated our schedules so that I could drop her off to her advocate in the morning, and in the afternoon, the advocate would bring her to me and I would take her home. This one particular semester, Jill's last class on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday ended an hour before mine. Normally, her advocate would hang out with her in the student union hall to wait for me. Since it was Friday, Jill insisted that the advocate bring her to the building where I had class, and she would just wait for me there, closer to where I parked the car, and the advocate could go home a little early. This was something Jill did occasionally just to be nice. I always took the same route out of the building and knew to be on the lookout for her. This day, Jill was in her usual spot in the lobby. She was sitting on the floor, there were no seats, with her back against the wall. Her cane folded beside her, tinted glasses on, and appearing to stare straight ahead. To Jill's left were the lobby doors, about 30 feet away. Jill thinks she had been sitting there for maybe 50 to 55 minutes when she heard what sounded like squeaking wheels rolling over the floor. She didn't bother to call out and just thought it was maybe the janitorial staff with those mop buckets on wheels getting an early start on mopping. Then she heard someone push the panic bar on one of the lobby's double doors and the wheels banging over the metal threshold. A moment later, a woman's voice filled the empty lobby. The conversation that ensued is to the best of Jill's and my memory. EP says, "What the hell is wrong with you young people? Never in my life have I seen so many inconsiderate brats in all my life." And Jill responded, "I'm sorry? And you should be, younger lady. You could see that I needed help with this hand truck," an upright metal thing with 2 wheels and a small base to put heavy stuff on to move it from one place to another. "But you just sat there and did absolutely nothing. Didn't anyone teach you manners?" "I didn't see you." "How could you not see me? I'm the only other person here." "I'm sorry, but I didn't see you. I'm blind." "You really expect me to believe that? Blind people can't go to college. You're just too lazy to get off the floor." Jill pulled her cane around, unfolded it, and got to her feet, and said, "Yes, ma'am, I am blind and I can go to college." I'm rounding the corner and I say, "What's going on?" Classes are letting out and students are beginning to leave or change classes. "This girl expects me to believe she's blind." "She is." "That's a load of crap. Prove it." The woman walks up to Jill and takes the tinted glasses from her face. "See?" She directs this to the students who are hanging around to watch the drama, as if she expected them to agree with her or take her side. "She can see. There is nothing wrong with her eyes. She's not really blind." As I stated earlier, Jill had ocular melanoma. As a result, her eyes were surgically removed, and she was fitted with prosthesis that looked real at a quick glance, but didn't move like normal eyes, and were a bit flat in their color. It was kind of like looking into the eyes of a very old doll. However, the best part of Jill's eyes, they were removable. Jill reached up, popped one eyeball out, and held it out to the woman. "Here, look through this and tell me if you can see anything." Entitled person backs away, screeching loudly, "Oh my God! Oh my God!" The woman backed away from us so fast, she tripped over either her own feet or those of the gathering students, landing on her ass and continued to scoot away. When she got to the door, she pulled herself up, grabbed her hand truck, and left. Jill maneuvered the eye back into the socket. The small crowd of students started clapping and laughing, and a few gave Jill a pat on the back. Jill, sighing dramatically, says, "So much for that lady seeing things through my eyes, huh?" Jeez, I love Jill's humor. Alright, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. As always, I want to do a huge shout out to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You should be up on the screen now. I love you all, and I think every single one of you are amazing for supporting the channel in the way that you do. Again, thank you so much for supporting me. And again, if you did enjoy today's video, please do tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below. All of your hot takes, opinions, whatever you think, really, whatever's going on in your life right now, I'd love to hear down in the comments below. Before I leave, I'd also like to announce that I'm going to start doing meme content again on the second channel. I know it's been a while, so click on the Markee head on the screen without the Australian flag behind him if you want to go see some memes. And as always, guys, have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.